Travel along, Catholic pilgrims, for 1 year as we read through St. Faustina's diary. Join me, Amy Thomas, each day for a short reading out of the diary which brought us a deeper understanding of Christ's divine mercy. Welcome, Catholic pilgrims, to day 345 of our readings from St. Faustina's diary. This means that there are only 20 days left, but we still have much to learn. It is common with human nature that we tend to observe and look at other people's behaviors and actions before we ever look at our own. We do not like to put a mirror up in front of our face and observe who we really are and who we have become, or who we have allowed ourselves to become. And so instead, in a defense mechanism, we just look at other people and we look at their behaviors and we look at their sins and we think to ourselves, oh, well, I'm not like that. And we harshly judge other people, all the while refusing to look interiorly at ourselves and realize that there's a lot of work that we need to do. If we ever get to the point where we think, I don't really have that much work to do, at least I'm better than these people here, then we know that we have much work to do. So that's what we're going to talk about today in Notebook 6, numbers 1717 through 1722. Today I was talking with the Lord, and he said to me, "There are souls with whom I can do nothing. They are souls that are continuously observing others, but know nothing of what is going on within their own selves. They talk about others continually, even during times of grand silence, which is reserved for speaking only with me. Poor souls, they do not hear my words. Their interior remains empty. They do not look for me within their own hearts, but in idle talk, where I am never to be found. They sense their emptiness, but they do not recognize their own guilt, while souls in whom I reign completely are a constant source of remorse to them. Instead of correcting themselves, their hearts swell with envy, and if they do not come to their senses, they plunge in even deeper. A heart which thus far is envious now begins to be filled with hate, and they are already at the edge of the precipice. They are jealous of my gifts in other souls, but they themselves are unable and unwilling to accept them. To stay at your feet, O hidden God, is the delight and paradise of my soul. Here you give me to know you, O incomprehensible one, and you speak to me sweetly. Give me your heart. Silent conversation alone with you is to experience what heavenly beings enjoy, and to say to God, I will give you my heart, O Lord, while you, O great and incomprehensible one, accept it graciously. Love and sweetness are my soul's life, and your unceasing presence in my soul. I live on earth in constant rapture, and like a seraph I repeat, Hosanna! O you who are hidden, body, soul, and divinity, under the fragile form of bread, you are my life with whom springs an abundance of graces, and for me you surpass the delights of heaven. When you unite yourself with me in communion, O God, I then feel my unspeakable greatness, a greatness which flows from you, O Lord, I humbly confess, and despite my misery, with your help, I can become a saint. During Holy Mass, I came to know that a certain priest does not affect much in souls because he thinks about himself and so is alone. God's grace takes flight. He relies on trifling external things which have no importance in the eyes of God, and being proud, he fritters away his time, wearing himself out to no purpose. There are moments when Jesus gives me knowledge within my soul, and then everything that exists on earth is at my service. Friends, enemies, success, adversity, all things, willing or not, must serve me. I do not think of them at all. I strive to be faithful to God and to love him to the point of complete forgetfulness of self. And he himself looks after me and fights against my enemies. After Holy Communion, when I had welcomed Jesus into my heart, I said to him, My love, reign in the most secret recesses of my heart, there where my most secret thoughts are conceived, where you alone have free access, in this deepest sanctuary where human thought cannot penetrate. May you alone dwell there, and may everything I do exteriorly take its origin in you. I ardently desire, and I am striving with all the strength of my soul to make you, Lord, feel at home in this sanctuary. I heard these words: if you did not untie my hands, I would send down many punishments upon the earth. My daughter, your look disarms my anger. Although your lips are silent, you call out to me so mightily that all heaven is moved. I cannot escape from your requests, because you pursue me, not from afar, but within your own heart. I'm currently reading the book The Bridge of San Luis Rey by Thornton Wilder. And if you've never read it, I highly recommend it. It's a great book. Really quickly, the summary of the book is: one day in Peru in 1714, there's a bridge and it collapses. There are 5 people on the bridge when it collapses, and they fall to their death. A religious brother happens to be going towards the bridge when it collapses, and he sees these 5 people fall. And he decides that he's going to research their lives because he wants to know, was this just a dumb accident, just chaos in the world and it just happened? Or was there a divine plan? Was there a reason why it was these 5 people? And so he spends 6 years studying their lives, trying to prove God's divine providence. One of the people that dies on the bridge is a lady called the Marquesa. And she's one of the wealthy women in Lima, Peru. But she's a little off her rocker. She's never fully experienced authentic love, and therefore it's kind of made her a little crazy. And she has her daughter, her adult daughter, set up on this pedestal. She idolizes her, and she tries to love her with this very suffocating love. And so her daughter moves far away to Spain because she can't stand her mom. But her mom is constantly trying to find ways to make her daughter love her. Anyway, she's kind of a eccentric type of person. She's getting older. She's not very pretty, though she has a lot of money. She drinks a lot because of her loneliness and because she can't face herself. She walks around town with her wig kind of askew on her head, and she's always kind of mumbling to herself, and she wears too much blush, and she just kind of looks like a beraggled clown, sort of. A rich, beraggled clown. You really feel sorry for her because you find out in her childhood her mother was constantly berating her, and she just didn't have a happy childhood, and she's never once in her life felt loved. Not by her parents, not by her husband, not by her daughter, nobody. And so she's just a very lonely, lost woman. Well, the Marquesa has like a maidservant that travels around with her wherever she goes, and her name is Pepita, and she dies on the bridge that day too. But going back in the story, before they die, one day the Marquesa wants to go to the theater, and so she goes, and the actress, her name is Camilla Pericol, she sees the Marquesa in the audience. Now, Camilla doesn't like the Marquesa because she's of the aristocracy, and she's kind of seen as like the town joke. And so Camilla decides that between acts of the play, she's going to come out on stage and kind of improvise these satirical songs about the Marquesa in order to make fun of her in front of the audience. And she's all proud and full of herself. So she goes out there and she starts making fun of the Marquesa about how her daughter doesn't love her and ran away and how she's kind of a joke and everything. And the audience knows exactly who she's talking about. And so they start, making fun of the Marquesa. The thing is the Marquesa doesn't even know that she's being made fun of because she's not even thinking about what's going on in these songs. She's actually thinking about her daughter over in Spain. But Pepita, her maidservant, recognizes what's going on, and she tells the Marquesa, hey, let's leave. And so the Marquesa's like, oh, okay. And she has no idea. And Camilla really thinks, oh, yeah, I got her now. That's why she's leaving. Anyway, one of the leading men in town is upset that Camilla has done this. And he tells her, you need to go apologize. And, she doesn't want to. And she's like, okay, I'm going to go apologize to this rich, crazy woman. Well, she goes to the house, and the Marchesa has been in a drinking spell. She's been sleeping and drinking, and so she's not ready to receive visitors. And so when Camilla knocks on the door, Pepita answers it, and she's like, you can't see the Marchesa right now. She's not ready. And she's like, well, I have to see her. I've been told I have to come and apologize to her. So Pepita goes, and she's like getting her up. She's like, come on, somebody's here to see you. The actress Camilla is here to see you. And so the Marchesa, she's got a hangover, and she's getting ready out of bed, and she puts herself together. And she doesn't really understand why the Camilla is here, because remember, she didn't catch on to what was going on the stage. And so she goes out and receives Camilla. And in that moment, Camilla sees her, and she's like, wow, she's kind of a dignified lady. And I'm here in her home, and it makes me feel different than I did on stage when, I had the power and the limelight. And so she starts apologizing. And the Marchesa is like, oh, okay, I'm not really sure why you're apologizing. And she tells her, my daughter left because of me, and it's all my fault. And in that moment, Camilla sees that she's a woman who's very lonely and just wanting to be loved. And all of a sudden, she feels a great shame and guilt for what she did. So why am I talking about all this? Well, I've been reading that book, so it's on my mind. But Christ here today, at the very beginning of our readings, he's talking about how there are souls that are constantly observing others but know nothing of what is going on within themselves. They talk about others continually, even during times of grand silence, which is reserved for speaking only with me. Poor souls, they do not hear my words. Their interior remains empty. Why did this make me think of the Marchesa and Camilla in this story? Well, it made me think of it because Camilla was on stage, and all she knows of the Marchesa is that she's this rich aristocrat. It's kind of crazy, mumbles around town, looks like a fool, is the town joke, probably a drunk. And so she looks at her and she's like, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to humiliate her and make fun of her because she's rich. She thinks she's better than me. And so I'm going to get on stage and I'm going to make fun of her and I'm going to show her. And the thing is in that moment, Camilla thinks she's better than the Marchesa. And she treats her how she would never want to be treated by the Marchesa. Because she thinks, oh, she's an aristocrat. She thinks she's better. She treats us like dirt, us peasants. And so she treats her in a way that she would hate to be treated herself. And she can't see that because she's so wrapped up in wanting to put the Marchesa in her place that she can't see that she's acting in the very same way that she thinks of the Marchesa. But when she gets in front of her and she's in her home, and she really sees the Marchesa, she can see a broken woman who has a lot of problems, who does sin, but she sees her more as a human being with all of her faults and failings. And in that moment, she recognizes that she too has faults and failings and that she should not have been so harsh with her. And I think this is a very powerful lesson for all of us. We walk around and we do judge each other very, very harshly, especially with social media, because we don't know the people that we're judging harshly. They're not in front of our face. We don't know their backstory. We have never, been face to face with a lot of them, a lot of the people that we judge, and even just people in the world and in the news. And we don't take the time to look at ourselves and see that a lot of times we act in the very way that we're criticizing in other people. And so it's so important that we always look interiorly and see where we can do work. Now, Christ talked about this. Take the wooden beam out of your own eye before you take the splinter out of your brother's eye. It doesn't mean you can't ever take the splinter out of your brother's eye, but it does mean that we need to be looking inward to see what we can do to become better people, to be better citizens, to be better family members, to be better friends, to be better neighbors. And it would do a lot of good if we would just self-reflect some of the time. So that is all for today, Catholic Pilgrims. I will see you back here for day 346. And until then, live the faith boldly and travel well.